Good morning, friends, and thanks, Krishnan, for the wonderful insight as a practitioner. I'm standing in front of you as an implementer of technology-assisted learning, and I've got about a decade plus, 13 years of experience in implementing technology-assisted learning and close to 225 plus corporates. So that's where I come from. But before we go in, I want you to go through something that we heard last morning. If any of you have sat through Dr. Prajapati Trivedi's session yesterday, he mentioned 5 principles, and principle number 5 was learning is all about implementation, and which is exactly what Krishnan signed off with, which says that it's not just about technology, it's not just about being carried away with the current day's fad. It's all about how do I use the right technology to solve a specific problem that I have in front. So learning, training is a problem with many of us because of various reasons. What I'm going to do right now is possibly help you, and that's what my subject is, mobile learning for dummies, which means handhold you and walk you through how simple it is to implement a very simple solution within the mobile technology learning space. Two slides about us. 24x7 Learning is into e-learning implementation. It's very coincidental. I didn't speak to Dr. Prajapati last morning, but it's coincidental. We are only into e-learning implementation, and we partner with large and fast growth companies to implement e-learning. At the back end, we have a learning management system, which is the backbone of about 40 plus corporates in India. We create content, which is either custom content, which caters to the need of the organization. It could be, if it's generic content, then it's available with us. We have catalog courses, we just hand it over to you. And we also have continuing education solution, which is we offer online MBA, online BBA, online project management, which is certificate courses. And we have touched about 225 plus corporates in India and abroad, and about 2 million learners have gone through us. And so that's the experience that I'm going to share with you. And just a glimpse of some of the 225 plus corporates that we have with us. So that's the background. Now going ahead with the topic of the day, what's on your mind? If we take a typical training manager or a CLO, he's focused towards training his employees, but he has several challenges. So what are the various challenges that we have? One, he's geographically dispersed. My employee is not in the same location, and thereby I cannot put them through into one classroom. The second problem is that the shelf life of information that is available within the corporate has reduced, which means that I taught him today, 7 months down the line, I need to teach him something else, which is delta X. And it need not necessarily be product, it need not necessarily be about negotiation skills alone. It could be many other things. It could be code of ethics itself. It could be internal, it could be market driven, it could be competition, and it could be even statutory. So these are the realities that we live with. I adopt classroom training in my organization, and I'm sure that I'll possibly touch upon some of the pain that you go through in evaluating a trainer every time. The trainer that I pick up and I find him best will not come for the next one, or he peps up his price, or he doesn't turn up at all. And thereby I have to go through this entire cycle once again where I have to pick up one more trainer. So, and there is the quality of training that I conduct. And if in case you have locations across, then of course the problem becomes magnified. And these are the challenges that I work with. And I just picked up 3, and I'm sure you can list down 20 more. So the solution to that was e-learning, wherein I canned the entire content, put it into a place called cloud. I'm not getting into technology out here. I'm not speaking as much on technology. I'm talking about how do I, as a training manager, implement the whole thing. So assuming somebody out there, some wise guy who's a techie, who's a geek, he created something that he put up the content out there. There's something called the learning management system, which has got SCOM, AICC, and all of that which he's done a good job, assuming he's done a good job, put it up out there, and then the whole thing is streamed to the end user on a laptop. He has a laptop, he has an internet connectivity, and thus what happens is I've been able to reach all the problems that we spoke of earlier, which is geographically dispersed workforce, and thereby I'm able to reach him because I'm using technology. Repetitive training, which is required because shelf life was low, with no additional cost, can happen, and machines are the best when we talk about repetitive functions. And lastly, there is consistent quality because machines don't falter in quality, so e-learning was the messiah. But I have a bigger problem today, and my bigger problem is, if I look at today, who is my workforce? He's worse than my toddler. My workforce today is more mobile. He's not in office. Even if he's in office, he doesn't like the laptop. He's more into mobiles than into laptops and desktops. And the age group, I'm saying, let's say 24 to 36. That's the age group that I'm referring to. And we do have problems about that, but I'm just targeting this specific one at this juncture. He picks up the mobile. Can you guess? There's been a study done. How many times you pick up the phone per day? Wild guesses. Closer. He doesn't keep it down. He's a mobile learning person. Any further guesses? Very close. So it's 150 times per day is the average. All of us pick up 150 times. And this is very similar to addiction to cigarette. And I've known, I'm not a smoker, but I do smoke, but I'm not a smoker, but I know people pick up the cigarette because he has to do something. So as you talk, he just fiddles with it 3 times, and the 4th time he goes and smokes and comes. And today this is an addiction. And that's my workforce. He doesn't fiddle with the desktop. He does not fiddle with the laptop. Third, attention span is in minutes. And I remember this 10 years back when I went to the VC to get investments for my company. I was told he doesn't have attention span. He's Rupert Murdoch. So you have to have an elevator pitch, which means within the 20 seconds that the lift comes down, you have to give him a pitch. And my man here is Rupert Murdoch. He doesn't have time to listen to what you have to teach him. And last, he gets bored fast. I mean, his life itself is bored. And within this, I have a mandate to go and train him. So let's do this. I mean, we have a mandate, we have to live by it. What do I do? What I do is, I give him what he wants first, and then I give him what I want him to do. So what do? I give him the same thing, and I ask him to access it through these 150 times. 1 out of this 150, I give him my information. Other 149 times he accessed the information he wanted, which will work. I think the statistics would work well. We need to figure out what is the information that I give, and that's why I'm saying implementation is important. My job today is not technology. I'm not talking about cloud, not tin cap API. These are words that we use in mobile learning. We are good. IT guys are good at creating jargons. So what is it that I need to do? What content should I put through mobile learning? That's important. So if I now give it to you onto your mobile, then you are ready to use it. Now I can reach the mobile workforce. He is not in office. Let's take the retail salesman or the telecom salesman. He's a feet on street. He thinks he's super smart. He doesn't need training. He is the best gift we have got in this earth. He doesn't need training. But he carries his mobile. He's out there on the street. He's talking to customers. So that is a person who can benefit from mobile learning best. Best to train if in case we give him small snippets. We've heard of learning bites when we started e-learning, but this is the best application when we give him small snippets. I'm sure if an SMS comes to you today, you'll take a mobile and read through it. So which means 100% usage. Folks who have implemented e-learning are worried about usage. There's no problem because there's nobody between the mobile and him. It's direct. Between the laptop and him, there is a mouse, there is an internet, and there is a logon. And then there is an application and the browser and all of that. Here there is nothing like that. It's direct, and thereby he has to read it. So SMS is one example, but I'm saying there are options that can reach him immediately. And give it to him where he wants it. And I remember I was giving a talk to about 50 plus HODs of a large group of institutions in Coimbatore. And they were all collectively, I don't know how many, they were all 50 plus, 60 plus. And they were all complaining that these kids, they are always on the mobile, they don't listen to me, I don't know what they want. The problem was not they, the problem was us, the professor, because he does not know what to do with the people out there. He was not connected with their style. So I think what we are trying to do over here is to give it to him the way he wants it. And I'm sure he will eat it, if we are able to do that. So let's look at, this is all nice, yeah, but does it really work? And how does it work? And I'm not sure if any of you have seen a mobile app, mobile learning. How many of you have seen a mobile learning app? Oh my God. I need to be careful what I speak. That's and used as well. Oh my God. I thought I could just breeze away with technology. For people who have not done it, let me just walk through. I'll skip through these slides faster then. It's as simple as that. You have an app, you have a user ID, you have a password, and you log in. And once you log in, it's like a normal app. It's like a ClearTrip app or your Redbus app. Once you have given your user ID password, next time you just have to click on the app and it's open, and maybe you can put it on startup also. It's simple as that. And then it gives you the subject, very similar to the LMS. It gives you, these are the 4 things that you need to go through. At the back end, there is a big thing called cloud, KinCap API, content, and all of that. But this gives you, very simply, these are the 4 things that you need to complete. And then once you click on one of them, it has those sections. It's a video, it's an assessment, it's a test, and it just goes on and on. And somebody clicks on one of them, he's able to go through a course. I'm sure you're not able to hear this, but this is a live session of an online MBA. It's as simple as that. Now, the question is, will anybody do an MBA? And I'll give you an example. I was talking about one of our divisions called Avagma. That division runs online MBA for working professionals in India. We have about 1,000 plus live students out there. And so this is conducted largely through, and this is 2.5 years back, largely through the desktop. People listen to them and do the courses. But we have a system where we remind the user every day, send an SMS before the class, etc. But this morning, about 10 o'clock, the professor calls up and says that not available, I can't give the test today. What happened is that he traveled to Mumbai because of an emergency from Bangalore. Normally it is conducted from our studio and it is conducted live, and students across the country, they do the courses. And at 10 o'clock in the morning, he comes up and says, I'm not available, I can't do the course. And we were just testing mobile learning. I said, let's try this out. And he was getting into a mobile train. Subsequently, the class was supposed to start at 11. He conducted a live class using his Android mobile, and students across India logged in and attended the course. And the teacher here was using his Android phone and 3G connection to conduct the class. So these are the live applications where we can actually, we need to be engineers as to how do we apply it in our sessions. So do I jump into the eLearning bandwagon? We can, but we need to remember what are the areas. So I'll go back and take some tips from Hornat, Gottfredson, and Bob Mosher, who have given these 5 moments of learning needs. There are 5. One, when learning for the first time, when wanting to learn more, when trying to remember and or apply, when things change, when something goes wrong. Out of these 5, I think these are the 4 areas where we can implement eLearning. We should not go and conduct a 10-day program through eLearning. It is possible because we as a company, the other division conducts MBA also. But I'm saying largely, if in case we want to do that Delta X learning, If in case we have already taught something, code of ethics was taught, but at the same time we need to give a delta X, a polishing, a reminder. Or if there is a competition who has come out with an ad today and my entire sales force today has to be communicated immediately on how to kill competition, it's available. And I just send that information and there is repetitive information that will go out. You'll have 100% usage. And if something goes wrong, there's a fire, there is a statutory problem, etc. This is where we can use M-learning in a big way, and it will be effective because there's nobody between the mobile and me. I just picked up, I think, 10 times in the last couple of minutes that I was speaking to you. Adopt M-learning when the content is precise. And I think we should go back to present writing, which we forgot in school. If information is given in big chunks, which is what we normally do as training managers, we will lose the client. We need to ensure that we give precise bullets, few points, one SMS or one video which is not more than 2 minutes. He will watch it. And that will give him enhanced retention because one message, it will remain. 3 days later, one message, it will retain. Give him assessments or shorter practice sessions. This learning will be reinforced in his mind. The PPT that I give him is not more than 3 slides or 5 slides. And if he knows that every time this message comes, it's just very short, those 20 minutes or 20 seconds, and he's sitting outside a client and he's got enough time. A pharma salesperson, for example, and I think Karthik Swaminathan will be speaking about it, but he has time. He doesn't have anything else. He needs entertainment. This is entertainment for him. But if entertainment is 6 hours, that's not entertainment. And that's why we need to give him what he wants. And the content should be relevant, contextual. It is to do with me. This generation is only about me. It's not about anybody else. And I'm convinced, so where do I start? And all this technical jargon, keep it to yourself. How do we start? Action 1. Focus on identifying the right training manager. And I'll go back to Dr. Prajapati Trivedi yesterday once again, where we started off by saying that the problem in India is that we focus on the people. And I don't know if you remember, he said 80% should be systems, 20% should be people, and that's why America is successful because they focus on systems. Fair enough. Out of the 20%, we said 80% is leadership, 20% is the people. So let's focus on the 80%, which is the leader, the training manager himself. He should be tech savvy. He should be exploring areas of content and segregating it into mobile, e-learning, classroom, etc., etc. And I think Krishnan touched upon this about informal learning, and so there is Burson and Associates have mentioned that 70% of the time people learn through informal learning, 20% of the time people learn through mentoring and coaching, and it's only 10% of the time they actually learn through training. And we are always been focusing on the 10%. Now there is an opportunity to look at the 70% of informal training, which is small snippets of videos, etc. That's where this comes in. That's the action number 1. Action number 2, train the training manager first on device usage. And all of them, make him a technical person. I'm not saying technical as in programming. It's technical in terms of user, as a user administration, breaking down chunks, etc. And M-learning solution, content management, and the various mediums. He should use SMS, he should use videos, he should use assessments. And these videos can be built in-house using the webcam that we have on our desktop. Okay. Action number 3, identify the right mobile learning technology platform which connects to your LMS, which connects to your HRMS, etc. Identify the right vendor. It's very easy to install on mobiles if you are able to. So the question would be, one person in my company has a mobile which doesn't access it. It's okay, I think we should forget him because we have to give him a different solution. As long as we can touch upon 95% of our users, I think we should go ahead. And the technology should be highly secure, integrate seamlessly with backend LMS, and allows the administrator to make it very simple to use. And the content that will be using this technology should have video, PPT, assessment possibilities. So let's look at what are the organizations. I have 3 slides on how, and I'll sum it up after that and hand it over to Karthik Swaminathan, who will possibly emphasize more on this application as to how organizations can use it. I'll just walk through a couple of them. IT, banking. In banking, for example, most of the time banks are available in branches across. We work with Kotak Mahindra Bank. One of the bigger problems is many of these branches do not have telephone, internet connectivity, and it's not good. Ideal place for this. Today mobile has reached farther than the internet, and this is the best medium for them to do it. Retail, of course, people are on the floor most of the time. The customer service, the salesperson, the logistics manager, they're always on the move, and India is moving fast. So for folks in retail, this is the mobile learning will be a very good medium for training. Pharma, of course, big chunk of their folks are sales folks. And if you need to catch them, they work from morning 8 till late 8 o'clock. I won't touch on this because I'll be stealing Karthik Swaminathan's presentation, but I think he has a live case study to explain. FMCG. So all of you who from MBA would know, and who have gone through the FMCG training, you know the first they do is send you to the farthest corner of India and the remotest place. And how do you expect yourself to be trained out there? And he's expected to know what's the difference between Lux and Dove and how to sell all of that and what's the new branding standards and all of that. This is the best way to reach out to him, because otherwise it's not. And he's completely bored, he's completely tired, he doesn't have the luxury of an AC room, etc. He travels in the sun. And he's sick and tired after the day to go and do an e-learning course. But through the day he needs entertainment. This is entertainment for him. And I'll give him a live example of entertainment. When we started e-learning in India about 12 years back, we had Wipro as our customer, which is IT. And then we started talking to Aditya Birla Group, which has got a lot of, companies from manufacturing, etc., which are in Hindalco was in Renukut, Birla Viscose was in Sirsa. And these are places, and the average age of a learner was 45. And we thought e-learning will fail out there, whereas in Wipro, everybody's comfortable desktop, it'll work. We were surprised because we found the usage in Renukut was 85%. And that is because in a small town, the area for entertainment was less. And so this was entertainment for them. Vis-a-vis the learner in IT, he had an information overload. And so at times we'll be overwhelmed by the way technology would help us. We spoke of field sales teams, supply chain management, the retail folks, customer support teams, field technicians, in customer service, snippets of information every third day. This is the best way to reach out to him. Thank you very much, gentlemen.